Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we are joined again by our guest host,
Corey.
Welcome in, Corey. This is a show where we speak extemporaneously about all manner of things Gen Existential. We get those topics based on a spin of Mega Wheel the Magnificent. Just so you know, I've gone over this a few times before on previous episodes. Mega Wheel is very magnificent, but Mega Wheel is actually a computer thing. It's a website where we've put over 500 questions and topics, and I'm going to give a spin of the wheel right now. So, Corey can verify, because he had his doubts about Mega Wheel the Magnificent, that it does exist. He has seen Mega Wheel. So for any of you doubters out there...
You know, this is something I was actually quite surprised, but Corey came in and said that he thought we prepped for all these things and that we have these questions ahead of time and we got to really think them out. Dude, this is like real life. This is just nothing but chaos. We're just pretending we know what's going on.
Yeah, for anybody out there listening to the podcast that's been with us, since the beginning, or if this is just your second or third time that thinks that... If we pass the mic to Corey there, you can verify that this is all exactly what you hear is what you get.
Yes, and that is why it's so intimidating. With some of these questions, some of the thoughts that come out of your mind of hopefulness, and Bunny's mind of depth. That's you never know what Bunny's going to come up with. It's intimidating. So I felt like I needed 2 or 3 hours or days to prep up for a question, but...
And yet you've done incredibly well.
I've gotten lucky. It's been lucky questions.
Thrown into the deep end, very much so. Are we ready for our first topic?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. What is the most attractive quality in a man/woman? I don't think that means like someone that's transitioning or anything. I think It means man or woman. Most attractive quality, should we go most attractive quality in a man and the most attractive quality in a woman, or you want to treat it like...
It's both for me, and that's sense of humor. You have to have a sense of humor about yourself. You have to have a sense of humor about this ludicrous clown world that we all live in. It's absolutely necessary, and it's so sexy. If a woman can make me laugh, as the kids say, diamonds.
And it's over to you, Corey. What was it exactly that threw you off there? Because all of a sudden I look over and Corey is just head down laughing.
I'm trying to get control of myself. A clown world should not have made me laugh like that, because I see clown on the internet all the time with the little emoji face.
What was it? The ludicrous that came before it?
It was the antipathy that came exuding out from Bunny's depths on clown. I mean, he's clearly offended by the clown-ish nature of everything. I'm struggling with this question because you said sexiest or attractive?
Most attractive quality. So not necessarily physical.
Okay. I'm bothered by this because I can think of a lot of attractive qualities about men and not about women, and so I'm starting to have some worries here. Immediately, and started thinking of masculine men. I guess it's men that are the opposite of me. Like, I'm thinking Vin Diesel. I'm thinking, macho guys, with big, broad shoulders, not these, like, little...
Randy Savage.
I was thinking Randy Savage, too. He was one of my heroes from a kid. But, these guys with these deep voices, because I don't have that, broad shoulders... Guys that will walk on the beach without a shirt on while I'm sitting under an umbrella with a jacket, and behind a book because I'm ashamed to get, shorts on. I'm thinking of, you said attractive men or women. I'm thinking of all these guys. I'm like, I wish I looked like that. I wish I looked like that, And I got nothing on women right now. I'm flummoxed, I am flummoxed. But yes, the macho man. Very nice. Very nice.
Bonus points for flummoxed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Used to be one of my favorite words, but I haven't used it in a long time, so that's good. Most attractive quality in a man/woman. Bunny took mine. Sense of humor is like key for anybody, but also a sense of professionalism, and that goes for anyone. Because I generally don't make gender distinctions for work, art, anything like that. Your gender doesn't matter to me, or where you fit on the spectrum of gender.
I'm just imagining
irrelevant.
Women in Uniform by Iron Maiden playing in the background right now.
I love that song. It's a fantastic
All
tune.
right.
Paul Di'Anno's crowning moment for me is actually Women in Uniform. I like the first two Maiden albums, but for me, his best moment was that song.
There you go.
I don't know why. It's catchy. It's awesome.
Just when you talk about women and being professional, it's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, and I'm going to, when I mix this down, I'm going to put a clip of that in. So I can't use that. So it's just professionalism, a certain standard of quality, not only in what they do, but just in life in general. In other words, I don't like it when people just kind of go, whatever. We talked a while ago about the shrimp incident at Happy Dragon in Lexington. If you go out in your pajamas and flip-flops, that is not an attractive quality. Have some respect. Be a little bit professional.
I was called a misogynist. Can you imagine? I was called a misogynist because I had this visceral reaction. This was a couple of years ago. It was summer. It was hot. Now I'm wearing a jacket and nice dress slacks, dress shoes. I'm at Meijer, by the way, doing this. But I'm out. I'm dressed up, And this very attractive young girl comes in, young woman, should I say, but she's wearing pajama bottom shorts and flip-flops with her big old sweaty feet slapping you, like noise it makes when they walk past. And I just wanted to shake her and say, "You're fucking gorgeous. Look at you. You are proof that God is an artist. What are you doing? I mean, what would you do this for? What is this all about?" It's like putting shrimp on ice cream or something stupid like that. It just makes no sense. It breaks my brain.
There may have been a design behind that to literally make people leave her alone.
It could have been, but it seemed like such a tragedy. It was a Dionysian tragedy to see that. There was this Venus in pajama pants. She had arms, though, but they were swinging around. Yep. There you go. So,
and now I'm singing so many different songs in my head. Okay, I think we've beaten that one to death. We're gonna give Mega Wheel of Magnificent another spin. If I can hit it right in the center, get it spinning there. And our next topic is, come on. Have you ever tripped or fallen in front of a vast crowd? I wish we had Jennifer Lawrence here on the show today, but we do not. So, Bunny, have you ever tripped or fallen in front of a vast crowd?
Sure. I mean, who hasn't? But I will say the one that comes to mind immediately is when I was at Northern Kentucky University as a student. Mm-hmm. I was between relationships, and I was trying desperately to court this very attractive modern dance major who happened to be in my math class. So we were coming, I'm not going to extrapolate for people out there who don't know NKU's campus, but in the wintertime, NKU's campus is a concrete dystopian brutalist fantasy land. I love it. I love the brutalism about it.
There's an area at NKU, for anybody that's unfamiliar, that is the way the buildings are set, it kind of becomes a wind tunnel. So if it's cold and windy in general, it is an Arctic hellscape.
Yes. Walking
Walking across parts of the campus.
Well, there were a set of 3 descending staircases that led down to the first floor of the art building.
Yep.
From the math and technologies building or whatever it was. And we're running because, of course, they give you 10 minutes to get from one side of the campus to the other between classes. And we're chatting each other up and it's going great. And I'm like, this is going to work. Bunny's in. But where is Bunny going to get a girl like this? Come on. She's 6 foot something, built willowy, and just gorgeous. Blonde, pixie cut, amazing. And I get on the stairs and I start to slip. And she starts to slip. And she grabs a hold of me and I grab a hold of her. And we both go tumbling ass over tea kettle down at least 2 of those flights of stairs while everybody else is standing there gawk looking at us. And we were laughing and bruised. And it just evaporated from there. There went my opportunity.
How did, if you were grabbing each other and holding each other through the tragedy, how did that not turn into something?
I think it became such a comedy, the whole thing, because we were laughing at the end.
But we just said a sense of humor is the most attractive thing.
It's true, but then it just faded away. I don't know if she ghosted me or what, but it was like, boy, this guy's really clumsy. And I am obviously a willowy gazelle who dances. It just didn't work. But the funny thing was, of course, at NKU, of course, with the students, you had the obligatory...
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the fall. And I was like, thank you, having a good time. And I'm sure she was embarrassed, and I was a little embarrassed, but I have no shame anymore. My shame left me somewhere around 6th grade. So,
Corey, have you ever tripped or fallen in front of a vast crowd?
Well, once again, I have to follow the magniloquence of Bunny, which is very difficult with its descriptions. But I just for the odd person that may listen and not realize that brutish had double meaning here. It is brutal at that place, but that is I found out through it's an actual you guys know this because he used it, but architectural design brutalism, which I did not know when I was younger.
Yeah,
and there's because I worked in an architectural firm, and some of those guys thought they didn't think NKU was interesting. They beat on it a little bit. Yeah, and to find out it was a very short phase of architectural art brutalism, but so it was a nice I don't know if that was double entendre there that you were using because I thought it had to be dirty when you used that, but yeah, so I'll try to follow Bunny. I can remember an incident again, to my shame. I was playing hockey, and it was in my phase of life where I was trying to prove my manlyhood. And I had invited people to come watch me play hockey. And this was a small audience, my sister and her boyfriend, I think. And I think somebody else was there. But anyway, I'm skating, and I'm trying to look pretty cool. And I decided to do chasing some guy, and I tried to turn and go backwards and, lean him into a corner or something and cut him off. And I caught the back blade, stabbed it into the ice, and I went, what was the expression that you used?
Ass over tea kettle.
Yeah, ass over tea kettle. Like I could ever come up with that. That's where I got the word grandiloquence. But anyway, I go ass over tea kettle, and I get up, and I'm, it's bad enough when you wipe out like that, because then the guy gets by you. But I can hear him laughing at me, And I look up, and they're laughing at me. And so I give him the middle finger. But I got hockey gloves on, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So I was so mad, I took my glove off and raised it to the heavens, for all to see, with a giant, mono finger salute, to which they just laughed even harder. And so, yeah, it was pretty shameful. I wish I could have bounced up and said, in a cheery chap voice, oh my, I went ass over tea kettle, and I would have been all right, but I couldn't think that way.
Fantastic. You guys are both going to want to slap me, but I have not. I have never fallen in front of a crowd going up on a stage. No, I haven't. It's one of those constant fears.
Yep. Trip his ass on the way out of the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Every time we're walking somewhere from now on, you're just going to be kicking the back of my foot and shit. No, I honestly haven't. That I can remember. The only time I've fallen lately, the only audience I had was a few of our cats.
No.
Because I got up from the chair at the kitchen table, And our cats have these little round, like, treat balls. You put a bunch of treats in them, and they have to bat them across the floor, and they'll fall out of the little holes. Our oldest cat, Elizabeth, has a habit. Once a treat ball is empty, she'll push it over to either where you're at, or she knows which chair I usually sit in the kitchen. I didn't know she had moved one of the balls there. I was sitting at the table reading. Tracy was out. I don't remember where she was at. It was just me and the cats here. And I got up to get a drink, and I stepped with my left foot on the treat ball. It went shooting away, cracked. I mean, it was shattered, and I could not get my balance. Went down flat on my back, hit my head, and I was out for a real brief time. Because I came to looking up at the ceiling like, what the fuck just happened? And then I kind of get up. I'm like, what? I see the broken shards of the treat ball. I'm just like, what the fuck?
You're going to end up in a home doing stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the last time that I fell. And I don't know. Maybe I was set up. Maybe I pissed Elizabeth off, and she was like, I'll get you. But,
I dated a girl. You know her quite well because you left a New Year's Happy New Year's sign on her door when we broke up.
I did, and you took it down.
I did. I thought, better of that.
Do you wish you had left it up now?
No. No. But she had uncontrollable falling down syndrome, which I think is an actual medical condition. I've never dated anyone who just fell on her face more, just out of nowhere. I'd be sitting in the bedroom, and I'd just all of a sudden I'd see her head go by the door where she just falls in the hallway, or she, trip going up the stairs or trip going down the stairs. It's amazing. And she'd just be laughing the whole time.
I hope it's still happening to her.
It might. I don't know.
I was not a fan.
Yeah, you didn't like her very much.
Well, I mean, really, it was, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Got time for one other short topic. We're going to give Mega Wheel of Magnificent a spin. While we're waiting for the topic, Bunny, can you tell everybody how to get in touch with us?
Sure. Drop me a line at morningpizzaradio@proton.me. That's proton.me. Or drop us a line at the Mixcloud page where you found this.
Awesome. So, final topic for this show. What is your guilty pleasure? And give it to Corey first, so he doesn't have to follow you.
I may need a minute on this.
You can pass the mic back.
Yeah,
if you want.
and then the words of the Beastie Boys, I will pass the mic for 1 second.
All right.
Now, see, Bunny, you've got to give something really good so that he regrets passing the mic back.
Well, the first thing I thought of was 9 to 5.
The movie?
The movie.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie more than I should. That is a guilty pleasure film. That and Smokey and the Bandit, which I will watch over and over again.
Absolutely.
Yet no one in any household I've ever lived has been a fan of that, and always just cringes whenever I want to watch
Hush
Smokey
Puppies,
and the
Daddy. Got
no
time for that crap.
That is a movie that's infinitely quotable.
Yeah.
But for some reason, 9 to 5, I love me some Dabney Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
All the women in it are just gorgeous. It's weird. It's a weird little slice of the early 80s. I think it was when it came out in 1980, 81, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be my guilty pleasure.
Nice.
This is still tough. It's because it's somewhere between guilty pleasure and therapy. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm, having these, hence the title of the show, existential moments in life, sometimes I need a bit of therapy, and I guess what I get out of it is a bit of a guilty pleasure, but I will binge watch something like The Sopranos, and I just envision all of my anger with things in the world manifested themselves in Tony, and every time he punches somebody or grips something and cusses or wrecks his car or throttles someone, I'm like rooting for him, and he's not a very nice person. He's actually probably a worse father than myself in some respects.
Wow.
Some of his misguided, fatherly teachings, but he's definitely not fathers knows best. But there's a guilty pleasure watching that, and watching some of the other characters in there just just fume some of their anger, and I sit in my chair comfy and safe and glad I'm not Italian for that, for that kind of, right. So that would be my guilty pleasure / therapy.
Cool. I don't know that the things I like, and I don't know that I have anything that I would call a guilty pleasure that I would feel odd, like telling you guys or telling our audience about. The closest I think I can get, I'll give you two. I am an unabashed fan of Taylor Swift, but it's because she's a really good lyricist. She's really clever. Take everything else away, take all the PR pomp and circumstance away, and just listen to the songs. They're all songs that you could literally, whether it's from the country phase all the way through the pop and now the kind of folkish phase, you can sit down with an acoustic and just sing it, and you could give it to anybody, and it's going to be a good song. Whoever sings it, it's just quality music. And so a lot of the negativity and just the fanfare and stuff, that's just icing and stuff. Don't pay attention. I think she's fantastic. But the other guilty pleasure would be like 70s sitcoms. Like we referenced Sanford and Son earlier.
Yes.
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller's good.
MASH is always top of the pantheon because MASH was fantastic. But a lot of the lesser known ones, like One Day at a Time, any of that stuff, if it's on, yep, let's watch. Stuff with a laugh track is generally immediately something that I will just go, yeah, this is good. And especially now, I mean, it's 2024. Most people will go, what do you want to watch that for? So I think it probably falls into the guilty pleasure category.
Just because you brought up MASH,
yeah.
And I recently discovered MASH, and it sounds funny. It's streaming on Hulu, and
a friend of mine that I work with is going back and rewatching them because I guess it just came on
and
Hulu,
that's what I'm doing.
And he's going through the whole thing, and I'm like, okay, have you seen this episode yet? Have you seen this one? Because I love MASH.
So I grew up. MASH was on TV and Star Trek was on TV when I was a kid. My dad watched that, but in MASH, I know all the characters. I've seen many episodes, but I was a little, why is it so good? Always wondered that. And when I saw that it was streaming, and I realized how long it was on and how many episodes there are, it's like 270 some episodes.
Yeah.
So I started watching it from ground zero. I'm like almost to the end of the second season, and I see why.
Yeah.
The show was so magnificent. Some of the daring sort of social,
absolutely.
The stuff on racism that was in there that really was sort of avant-garde. And calling the Korean people different names, and Alan Alda going, he's a person, let's not use that word. And I'm like, that stunned me. The one thing I can't figure out, and maybe after the show you can help me, the amount of infidelity in it just being tossed about, and I wonder if there was a reason for that, because it seems to be sort of very casual with that. If it's like a running joke, because there's so many things that they address that are very serious: the anti-war, the racism, and but yes, that institution seems to just get knocked around a bit, but without any reason. But maybe you have some insight to that.
You go further into the episodes when Trapper is gone and you get BJ as kind of the foil or accomplice to Hawkeye. He's a married man. He doesn't take part in any of that stuff. He is that paragon of integrity. So it's really a counterpoint to that. And I think that was one of the things that they were looking for in a character when they made that switch. And kind of the same thing going from Frank Burns to Winchester. Completely different take on that kind of stuff. Well, so it shifts as you go further into the series.
And there was an episode where Alan Alda was messing around with a nurse and found out she was married. And he's like, no way. Right. Got to go. Yeah. And I think I just saw the one where Blake brought home a 20-something-year-old girl, and Radar called his wife, Yeah. And those were touching episodes, but some of the other stuff, I mean, it's still fun. I think maybe it's probably just supposed to be funny, but I love that I get the show. And Alan Alda, I mean, my dad loved him. Now I know why. I mean, he feels like he's like my wise, crazy uncle at this point.
And those shows hit, even for the time that they were originally aired. And then when we were kind of growing up, seeing them on reruns and stuff, watching them now with the age and the wisdom that we've accumulated, they take on a really different tone. They're still funny, but you read some subtext in them that as a younger person you didn't get. I liken it to The Simpsons. We watched The Simpsons as kids and we laughed uproariously because it was funny stuff. You watch that stuff now and you get kind of the social things and the other subtexts that are in there. It's a completely different show. Still funny, but there's a lot more depth to it too. Final thoughts, Bunny?
I have a confession.
Yes.
I've never seen MASH. I've never seen The Sopranos. And I've never seen the movie E.T.
But have you ever seen...
As a Gen X person...
But have you ever seen Manos, The Hands of Fate?
I have seen that numerous times.
See, we need to fix this. On that note, we're going to go, like, strap Bunny down to a chair and do a Clockwork Orange thing and make him watch the entire run of MASH and follow it up with E.T.
Catheter on standby.
And we'll see what happens next time on the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
I'm Bunny.
And we want to thank our special guest, Corey, for being here.
And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a great time. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one. The tall woman sounded, thought you give her no lip. She took me to the station for a breath test and back to the bedroom for some house arrest.